Welcome to the NBA's greatest games. Today, we'll take you back into NBA history and relive one of the great matchups as it happened.
Game 7. No two words in sports are more dramatic. For one team, the dream of an NBA championship remains alive. For the other, it's the finality of yet another season unfulfilled. Karl Malone and John Stockton have spent their storybook careers in Utah and have never been this close to the NBA Finals. Their legacy and personal achievements will forever hold a place in NBA history. Tonight, they face what could be their last shot at their ultimate ambition. Shawn Kemp and Gary Payton are the next generation and heirs apparent to the Malone-Stockton standard. Early on, it appeared youth was poised to triumph. The star tandem led Seattle to a 3-1 series edge, just one win shy of the team's first final round appearance since 1979. The momentum has since shifted to the Jazz. Stockton and Malone have brought their team back to the brink of the promised land. Seattle's past playoff horrors are again staring them in the face. But this team has exhibited superior character this year. Can that character prevail? Or will the Jazz ride their own momentum? The winner goes to Chicago.
This is the NBA on NBC. The 1996 NBA Conference Finals.
Welcome to Seattle, Washington. Tonight, the pinnacle of Western Conference basketball. Game 7 between the Utah Jazz and the Seattle Sonics. On Friday, 5,000 fans have showed up in downtown Seattle to cheer their Sonics on as they approach Game 7. Jerry Sloan has brought his Utah Jazz to town, a determined John Stockton and his Seattle counterpoint, Gary Payton. Percy Hawkins of the Sonics kissing his loved ones goodbye as he enters Key Arena for the biggest game of his career, and Detlef Schrempf is ready as well. So is a packed house at Key Arena for Game 7 between the Sonics and the Jazz. Hi everyone and welcome to Seattle. I'm Craig Gumbel along with Bill Walton and Steve Jones. Let's start with the Utah Jazz first, who are breathing some very rare air these days. It's the first time in the 22-year history of the Utah Jazz has the franchise been in a Game 7 of a Western Final. They have never before played a basketball game in the month of June. All of this has the big players ready, including Karl Malone.
I look forward to the big game because you don't need any pep talk. You don't need, my ideal situation is for Coach Sloan to walk in the pregame meeting and say, I don't have nothing to say, you guys know how big it is. That's what I would love. Because I've never been here before, and I try to approach it the same as always, but it's an excitement that I like because everything's on the line. And like I said, it's no excuses, and you get ready to play these kind of games, no matter where you're at. It don't matter if you're just playing them out in the parking lot. Game 7 is what it's all about.
For Karl Malone, known as the mailman, it's been rain, sleet, mud, snow, whatever. He's always made the delivery for the Utah Jazz. But this is a player who loves a big stage and relishes the big moment. He plans on delivering not only today, but deep into June because he needs a championship.
All right, Steve. Meanwhile, the Seattle Sonics, well, they're still fighting ghosts of the past. Each of the last 2 years eliminated in the first round with 3 consecutive losses. A third straight loss to Utah today would send them home and not to the finals. They're also fighting some local battles. Take a look at the newspaper headline that greeted them after a Game 6 loss in Salt Lake City, but none of this deters head coach George Karl.
Every month this year, we've won big games. Every month, November, December, January, we've gone and won games where people didn't think we have a chance of winning. And we've come back and won games at home when we were down 9 with a minute to go. We've done things with character. So, yeah, I believe that I think you're going to see a damn good basketball team play a damn good basketball game.
Seattle's high wire act stumbled this week, but fortunately they have the NBA's ultimate safety net, the home court advantage. Won this year in spectacular fashion, where they were second only to the Chicago Bulls. Won because of the electrifying play of Gary Payton, who carried this team throughout. Now, the biggest of these games are decided by the brightest stars. They've got to let themselves go out and be more than just yourself. Being average won't get it done today. An animated Gary Payton for Seattle has to play the absolute best game of his life. In the end, history will be very kind, Greg, to the winning stars today.
All right, Bill. Bob Costas in our NBA studios after a timeout, and then Malone, Stockton, and the Utah Jazz against Kemp, Payton, and the Seattle Sonics. Game 7. Hey, what more do you have to know?
Warriors straight on three.
A three-peat for the world champion Lakers.
It's opening night in the NBA.
Great basketball.
Oh, my! Can you believe that? Air Canada soaring!
What a beautiful play. Spectacular finish.
There are 1,000 reasons to love this game. What's yours?
The crowd is on their feet.
I love this game because you know what? Little guys can make a big difference.
You can stand here with the ball doing stupid things like I'm doing now and look cool.
Because it gives me a chance to be me.
I love this game because you get to wear a tank top.
We love this game because we can always go together.
It's a good date.
How nice was that?
That close.
You are the best. We're here today to show you that even the best can get better.
Let's go, come on, guys, what do you mean, let's go?
As the NBA mascot consultant, my research shows this is fun. What the? Yes, nice, guys. What are you, anyway? Feel the burn, baby. Oh, nice. I like that.
Hi, I'm Andrej.
And I'm Marsha Kirilenko. HIV and AIDS is a cruel reality that affects millions of people around the world.
Abstinence, safe sex, practicing monogamy, and saying no to drugs are intelligent decisions that can stop the spread of this deadly disease.
Together, we must learn to protect ourselves and others from HIV and AIDS.
Because your knowledge is the best protection.
Welcome back to the NBA's greatest games.
Game 7 on tap in Seattle. Let's go to the public address announcer here at Key Arena, Jim Gracie.
The following is a presentation of Full House Sports and Entertainment. And now, ladies and gentlemen, time for today's starting lineups. First of all, for the visiting Utah Jazz. A 6'1" guard from Gonzaga, number 12, John Stockton. A 6'4" guard from Iowa State, number 14, Jeff Hornacek. 7-foot center from Louisville, number 50, Felton Spencer. A 6'8" forward from Auburn, number 43, Chris Morris. And a 6'9" forward from Louisiana Tech, number 32, Karl Malone. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Get on your feet for the 1996 Pacific Division champions, your Seattle Sonics. And today's starting lineup for your Supersonics, a 6'4" guard from Oregon State, number 20, Gary Payton. A 6'3" guard from Bradley University, number 33, Hersey Hawkins. 6'11" center from New Orleans, number 50, Irvin Johnson. 6'10" forward from the University of Washington, number 11, Get and a 6'10" forward from Trinity Junior College, number 40, of your Seattle Supersonics, George Karl.
Working the sidelines with us this evening, Ahmad Rashad and Jim Gray. Let's check in with Ahmad.
All right, thanks, Greg. And talking to Jerry Sloan about the home court advantage that Seattle has, he says that it definitely will affect them. But at this point in the season, it's all about focus and tunnel vision. It's almost like challenging yourself to see how hard you can practice in the gym all by yourself. And I talked to Karl Malone about this 7th game of this playoff series. He said it's a one-game playoff, and there are no tricks, there are no adjustments. The toughest team wins. He feels like they have the toughest team. Now for the Seattle side of it, let's go down to Jim Gray.
All right, thank you very much, Ahmad. Well, I spoke with George Karl, and he told me he really didn't sleep much last night. Now, Karl usually speaks to his team for about 8 minutes before the game. Well, today, after about 3 minutes, he just said, hey, guys, get out of here. Forget all this stuff. Just go play and be your best. Now, as for Nate McMillan, he's been bothered by a bad back. That has led to a right hamstring problem. Well, McMillan told me that he has taken a shot of cortisone to try and loosen things up. He says right now, it has not kicked in. He feels as though he will be very limited in his abilities. And finally, now, as for Gary Payton, who has had a life-threatening family crisis all this week, which has been talked about, he told me now that last night the entire family spent the evening together, that things are now much, much better. He was with his mother, his father, and his sister, and now he can simply concentrate on basketball.
Are you ready? Sonics fans, are you ready? For the thousands in attendance here at the Key and the millions watching around the world on television, there's only one thing left to say. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
And that's how noisy it gets here in Seattle on occasion, especially for Game 7. I think the table has been suitably set. Dick Bavetta, Hugh Evans, Mike Mathis are our officials.
Greg, Seattle has to get back to playing their type of basketball. Their defense has got to force turnovers as Karl Malone and Sean Kemp get ready. They got to get to the hoop, Seattle, and then finish strongly. That's particularly Gary Payton there. And their interior game has to set up lots of three-point shooting for Seattle.
Well, this game has been a day too late for everyone. All these players are ready. You talk about sweaty palms. They really want to get each other. And I think the Utah Jazz feel that they had played yesterday. Certainly, they would be the victors.
Teams have gotten off to quick starts the last 2 games. Tuesday night, Game 5, the Seattle Sonics jumped off to a 10-0 lead. Thursday night in Salt Lake City, it was Utah jumping to a 12-0 start.
Foul called on Karl Malone for an elbowing foul. Mike Mathis right on the call. We look at the history of the home court advantage in Game 7s. Severely dominant, over 80%.
Hersey Hawkins, who has sworn to come out more aggressive. Sean Kemp with the turnaround.
you know that the Sonics want an emotional start. They want to keep the crowd in the ball game. And their job is to control the tempo of the game, control the crowd.
Look for a very physical game here today. Malone shot no good. Kemp with the rebound.
The quickness of Gary Payton.
You know, Greg, this game has so many plots and subplots, but the one that everyone's hanging their hat on are the two stars, Payton and Kemp, Stockton and Malone, everyone pulling for the veterans. They haven't ever been there to a championship, but these young guys know you don't get many chances.
Irvin Johnson with the foul at this end of the court, and we go the other way.
Terrific refereeing right off the start. 2 offensive fouls on screen sets. The first on Karl Malone with a wild elbow, then on Irvin Johnson.
Pass inside, picked off by the Sonics.
Utah's got to get something at the basket. Seattle's pushing them back.
Payton. Gary Payton was out here earlier than he has ever been for a playoff game. He's very determined to change things around from a subpar performance last time out. Payton is there.
What they didn't do in games 5 and 6 was come up with the loose ball, have that energy, make the big plays.
Traveling violation is called. No basket.
Payton said, I was dribbling. You can't travel when you're dribbling, but they take it away.
Terrific officiating. No offensive fouls called on screens. They're calling steps.
Each side, 2 turnovers. We still have a 2-0 game. 10-10 to play in the first. Stockton breaks free.
Perfect execution in the half-court set. Utah's forte, slicing off that post. Maybe that foul that Karl Malone took early was worth it. Now the guards coming off will be a little hesitant.
Well, that foul was well intended. I mean, this is a physical team. They want the Sonics to know that it's not going to be an easy afternoon. Illegal defense, Utah.
You will see that call more than a few times this evening. Let's go back to that terrific passing play at the other end.
John Stockton off the high post pick. His biggest obstacle today, John Stockton, is going to be overcoming his greatest strength, which is consistency. He's got to elevate his game today over his normal level.
Detlef Schrempf. Schrempf averaging 15.9 a game in the playoffs.
They haven't gotten Schrempf involved in the games early enough in 5 and 6. He came out early as well. Wasn't missing his shot. That jumper showed he's going to be looking to try to take advantage of Morris and Russell.
Hornacek down the lane off the pass from Malone.
Karl Malone continues to pass beautifully. Utah needs to get Chris Morris a shot early to get him involved. He was brilliant at the start of Game 6.
Schrempf.
Nice step out by Felton Spencer, who also has to make some early contributions.
Tied at 4. Stockton top of the key for 3.
Real John Stockton showed up in Game 6 and appears to be carrying that forward. That's 5 early. Sean Kemp.
Stripped to the ball, out of bounds to Utah.
Steve, John Stockton started turning it around in the overtime of Game 5. Got an offensive rebound, made some steals. That jumper exemplifies the spring and life in his game.
Shooting just 27% from behind the line so far, and he hits a second straight one.
The guy couldn't make a shot for 5 games, and suddenly he's can't miss. A big story for the Utah Jazz.
Kemp will go to the line for the 3-point play.
Superb job for Sean Kemp. Eschewing the double clutch, which has been his downfall for years. Just going right in once the contact goes, just continuing right through. The disappointing and disconcerting thing for George Karl and the Sonics is in Game 5 and 6, Sean Kemp was terrific. Had big minutes, no fouls at all. Terrible play.
Irvin Johnson couldn't convert the giveaway. Back come the Jazz. Chris Morris for 3. And the Jazz have come out clicking from behind the 3-point line. They lead at 13-6.
This is an extremely athletic and talented Utah team. Steps, or 3 seconds.
Well, 3 seconds. Kemp telling his team, we got to move, we got to find angles. Don't let me get stuck with the basketball. But for the Utah Jazz, and John Stockton is perfect from the field. The win in Game 5 is what set the stage for them to be here. They believe regardless of what happens with the crowd, they know how to handle the defense of the Sonics.
Gary Payton really whacking Stockton away from the ball.
Malone off the mark. Rebound to Hersey Hawkins. Whistle blows. And this looks like it'll go against Seattle. Loose ball foul is on Payton.
Mike Mathis had this play all the way. Payton bumping, hooking, grabbing, holding. When the final shot was taken, just held him down. That was really an accumulation foul.
Then he was late. He added it up, and then he finally said, well, it's a foul. But, you know, you look at Hersey Hawkins trying to be more aggressive. That means that they're going to spread things out. Malone travels.
Steve, on that high post rub-off for the guard, I think a good quick pass to the cutter. That play is open right away. Karl Malone shuffles his feet on the nice rotating defense.
Tuesday night here in Seattle with a chance to put the Jazz away. Utah came up with a 3-point win in overtime. The Sonics swore to come out more aggressive in Game 6, but did not in Salt Lake City. They're trying to do that again here, and Gary Payton scores.
The size and strength of Payton inside. And the athleticism, that's where the real edge is for Seattle in this series. Payton over John Stockton, and they'll have to capitalize.
Malone with a pass to Stockton. 10 points for John Stockton.
Like so many teams just stand on the perimeter and watch guys play in the post. Utah, they split, they cut through.
Karl Malone disagrees with the call by Mike Mathis that it's Seattle basketball, but the call stands as the Jazz try to calm their leader down. 6:48 to play in the first quarter. Timeout on the floor. The Jazz 15, the Sonics 8. This is the NBA on NBC.
There are 1,000 reasons to love this game. Let me hear yours.
I love this game because of behind-the-back pass.
I love this game because I love to get the crowd into it.
Well, I love this game because it's all rock and roll to me.
Stojakovic is on fire.
I love this game because of the New York Knicks.
I love this game because the thrill is never gone.
Posey with a flush.
One of us plays this game great.
One of us doesn't play at all.
But we love this game.
Welcome back to the NBA's greatest games.
The heart and soul of the Utah Jazz, Karl Malone, as we welcome you back to Seattle. This was the scene in Game 6, Thursday night in Salt Lake City. Karl's mom, Shirley Turner, sitting courtside. She's not here today because of what happened Tuesday night here.
My mom and Felton, Spencer mom, and Antoine Carmon, they went out to a little place called Wendover, and they gambled the night we won here. So they went back out there yesterday, and they did the identical same thing. They wore the same clothes, they did the same restaurant, and they stayed in the same room, and they watching the game on TV. So I said, Mom, if it worked for you, fine. I'm not a superstitious kind of guy, but it worked at one time. I said, go do the same thing. So I gave her the money and said, I'll see you when I get home.
But he's not a superstitious kind of guy.
I just go along with that extra edge. You know, the Seattle Supersonics play better when they're down early. If they seem to play out of fear and that gets their attention, we'll see if that happens. Hawkins to three.
Hersey Hawkins was 0 for 8 from the floor in the blowout loss Thursday night at Salt Lake City and vowed that it would be different here tonight.
But how do they get those threes? All that sets up by getting to the hoop and sucking that defense in. That's something they have not done well in this series as their three-point shooting has slumped horribly the last 4 games.
Malone will go to the line and shoot 2 off the nice pass from John Stockton.
Now, if you talk about a team making an adjustment, this is where Utah has made their adjustment. They led the league in field goal percentage, and the reason for it, they get a lot of layups. In the first 4 games, they were struggling to get those. Now they're almost getting them at will. Karl Malone getting his first layup attempt this afternoon.
The fans counting Karl Malone down. It has been an issue here in Seattle. The fans feel that Karl Malone takes more than the mandatory 10 seconds to get his shot away. So Malone gets the ball now. They will start. And Stockton makes the steal.
John Stockton is the sharpest player in the game today.
Well, he's got a mismatch and trying to take advantage of it, and Chris Morris got in, and they give him a shot.
Seattle comes away with the ball, and Kemp draws the foul. That'll be number 2 on Felton Spencer.
Felton Spencer was terrific in Game 6. The blowout, not off to a good start today with a couple of fouls early. This is a shot that Chris Morris has got to go down. Steve, we talked in a blowout Thursday night at Salt Lake City how Utah had to come out with a spectacular open. They had to come out and play perfect basketball for the first 8 minutes. They've come close to that. Chris Morris's stick back there would have helped their cause.
Well, it certainly would have, but they've gotten Chris Morris in the game. He comes out, Ryan Russell is in the game, and he has done a better job defensively against Detlef Schrempf. See if Schrempf stays aggressive at the offensive end, because Russell's a guy that's made him become tentative and hesitant about shooting the ball.
Greg Foster has also come off the bench, and Kemp goes right around Foster for the basket. 6 points for Sean Kemp. 15-13, Jazz lead is 2.
Last 2 games, Sean Kemp played 40 minutes a game, got 25 points and 14 rebounds a game.
Hornacek pops off of the pick and gives it back to Malone, who works on Sam Perkins. Fall away, front rim, Perkins with the rebound. Payton gonna push it. Schrempf. And whistle blows, and an offensive foul.
Detlef Schrempf can't believe they're going to call this on him, but that's that's Seattle basketball. George Karl has to be very pleased with this tempo here. The fast break generated by the defense. Just to push off there, very little contact. The defender easily moving backward.
Here's the Brian Russell defense on Detlef Schrempf as Stockton sits down. He's 4 for 4 from the field, replaced by Howard Isley, who throws it away. Payton back around and down the lane, and he'll shoot 2.
A different Hersey Hawkins, up and alert defensively, able to get into the passing lane to make that play possible. They haven't made a lot of steals. As a matter of fact, they're down big to the Utah Jazz. They led the league the last couple of seasons, but a more aggressive Hersey Hawkins. And that's his storyline for the day. Do whatever it takes to win the game.
Hersey Hawkins, in fact, saying, hey, if you have to throw a few elbows, if you've got to lay someone out on the floor, this is a Game 7. You've got to do it today. Payton hits 1 out of 2. The Jazz save the ball.
That last turnover by Howard Isley, that's the first poor play that I can remember him having in this entire series. He's played magnificently in reserve behind Stockton.
Now you look at the way Hawkins is really shadowing.
There's another throwaway. This time Hornacek, and Kemp is fouled on his way to the basket.
What is Utah doing? Utah's driving away from the basket to the sideline, to the corner, jumping in the air and throwing cross-court passes. That's the way they lost Game 2 when John Stockton did it. Now they're feeding Sean Kemp, Hersey Hawkins, and a breakaway foul call.
And exactly the kind of turnovers Seattle was committing Thursday night in Salt Lake City. Sean Kemp will shoot 2.
If you look at Sean Kemp, who came out early, I mean, he is lathered and beaded up, and he is really excited, but playing with control, and that's made a huge difference for George Karl. Both of the free throws.
Sonics by 1, 16-15. Seattle, winners of 64 games during the regular season. They have now scored the last 8 points over a 2-minute span.
Percy Hawkins' defense on Hornacek been solid.
Hornacek. Jeff Hornacek came up with 23 points in Game 6.
So much for solid D.
Well, no, I mean, Hornacek has been shooting the ball without hesitating. That was great defense, but great offense. He's got one of the quickest releases in the league, and he's able to get that one up and down.
Nice weak side rotation by Foster.
Perkins for 3.
This is the kind of game that Sam Perkins will shine in. Terrific veteran, championship experience, college level, played in the finals against Chicago and Jordan in '91.
Batted away by Perkins, out of bounds.
You got to watch George Karl because he's trying to pick and choose when he sends a double team. That time he was up and animated, telling them to get after him because they felt they had a chance to make a steal. Almost had it.
Look at the Seattle bench. They got 6 coaches standing up there. They're all doing circular motions. Players get confused looking over there.
Everybody stays home. Hornacek with the ball. On the corner. And Payton got a piece of it. NBA's Defensive Player of the Year with the play. Drive. Gives to Hawkins.
Defense leading to offense. Seattle's main weapon.
Hawkins has 5. We have 2:50 to play in the first. Sonics lead it by 4.
Normally Isley gets about 4 minutes, but he's only been in the game 2, and John Stockton back at the bench. Sloan knows how big this is. He's got to settle his team down.
Particularly with Stockton playing so well.
Shot clock down to 5. Malone comes up shy. Kemp with the rebound.
Not a shot we see Karl Malone take a lot. A Ewing runner across his body from the right box.
Vincent Askew's 3 is way off the mark, and Isley has the rebound. Now comes the double team at Isley again. Brian Russell. And the lob into Malone. And Malone overshoots the basket. Wanted the foul called, none coming. Back come the Sonics in a hurry. And Hawkins traveled. Well, the Sonics will take issue with Hugh Evans for that call. In the meantime, we'll stop with 2:03 to play in the first. The Sonics 21, the Jazz 17. There are no more tomorrows for the loser. The winner moves on to the NBA championship round.
There are 1,000 reasons to love this game.
What are yours?
I love this game because of the three-point shot.
Because I get to run the point.
Beautiful pass by Payton.
Because Seattle is where it's at.
I love this game because it's improvised.
Did you see what I saw?
Wow, huh?
I love this game.
I love this game because it's alive. It's alive.
Welcome back to the NBA's greatest games.
Karl Malone averaging almost 27 points a game in the postseason, 0 for 5, no points so far this afternoon. Meanwhile, at the off-guard position, the matchup between Hersey Hawkins and Jeff Hornacek is one to watch. Hornacek, we told you, 23 points in Game 6. Not off to the quick start yet today. Averaging 22, while Hersey Hawkins averages 10. And Hersey Hawkins says this.
I spoke to one of my closest friends last night. Johnny Dawkins called me, and you know, he has a way of just laying into you in a gentle way. And you know, he basically told me, listen, he said, you know, Game 7 situations, you don't want to look back on this 5 or 10 years down the road and think that you didn't give it all you had. And he said, you're an offensive player, so go out there and play offense and do whatever it takes to win. And you know, then if you don't win, you can look in the mirror and say, hey, I still did my best.
Well, Karl Malone got his first basket, and Hersey Hawkins says, you know it's a meaningful phone call when the guy calls you from the East Coast and it's 3 a.m. Eastern time. Hawkins on the bench.
Hopefully Johnny Dawkins got up to make that phone call.
Nate McMillan on the floor for the first time today for 3. And McMillan hobbled severely.
But not a good strategy for Nate, who is one of the class gentlemen in this league. Hasn't been playing well, been limited by minutes, and come in the first touch, shoot a 3. I don't think so.
Well, you know, part of their philosophy is to be themselves, and if they have a shot, to take a shot. Steal McMillan.
Kemp down the lane. And Foster back for the rebound.
Terrific rebound by Foster. They've got to get Karl Malone some looks where he can step out about 10 to 12 feet off the box, turn and face, and drive to the hoop. He's got a much smaller man has to do on him here.
Seattle's defense has been very active here early. Malone gets that one deep. And an easy 2.
That's the kind of play he needs. He's been shooting fadeaways every time.
We're tied at 21, the last 45 seconds of the first quarter.
You know, Greg, Bill Walton didn't sleep last night, and when he did, he dreamed that he played in this game. I've already taken 3 shots from him in the rib, so, you know, he's up for this, and all of the people here are as well. Another turnover.
We won by 100 last night, Steve. And I was rolling up and down that floor.
That, of course, is after we get through all the fire drills in our hotel. 25 seconds to the first quarter.
If you're a defender, what you want to do is go at John Stockton. Do not let him initiate, because if he gets you back on his heels, he's going to go all the way, or he's going to pull up and shoot the shot past you.
Stockton. That's his first miss of the game. Perkins with the rebound. 5 seconds for the quarter. Payton tried to go behind his back, and Malone called timeout with 7/10 of a second to play.
Very poor timeout.
This will be a 20-second timeout.
Players have gotten in the habit of calling timeout in these kinds of situations. Game recognition dictates that you just let this one go. You'll need that 20-second at some other point here in the first half.
Steve, you need to prepare yourself. These kind of plays, you wait till late in the third and throughout the fourth quarter.
I want to remind you that prime time, 9 p.m. Eastern time, Wednesday night, Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Join us. The Bulls will host the winner of this game, either Seattle or Utah. The Jazz or the Sonics against the Bulls in the NBA Finals. Michael Jordan looks happy now. It would be too much rest for the Chicago standout. It's the NBA Finals in prime time, Wednesday night Eastern here on NBC. You know, the Bulls dispatched the Orlando Magic in 4, and they've just been sitting around while these guys have gone 7 games. How much rest is too much rest?
However much they're getting is going to be too much, because at this point in the season, you need those games. You need the crowd pushing you, yelling at you to be able to fight through the level of pain that you're in by this point of the season to maintain your conditioning. Utah having trouble getting it in.
Russell with the hook at the buzzer and almost hit it. Oh, would Kareem Abdul-Jabbar been proud of that sky hook. John Stockton, 4 out of 5 and 10 points to lead the Jazz. Sean Kemp has 8 on 3 of 5 shooting from the floor. This is the one for all the marbles, the one that moves the winner against the Chicago Bulls. Coming back for the start of the second quarter, we're tied at 21.
There are 1,000 reasons to love this game.
And one of them is the answer.
Iverson, unbelievable!
I love this game because it's so intense.
Because of the crossover dribble.
Because I can jump over people.
What a play by Vince Carter!
I love this game because the guys are really cute.
You know what I love about the NBA?
Karl Malone.
Malone running on the right wing. He's got it!
Because Sugar Shane says to.
Where is he getting it from? Bingo! What a game! Holy cow! Here's Marbury on the drive.
Oh, man, can you believe it? Welcome back to the NBA's greatest games.
Greg Gumbel, Bill Walton, Steve Jones, Ahmad Rashad, Jim Gray back at Key Arena in Seattle. This is how the first quarter came to an end. The big hook from beyond half court by Brian Russell almost went in.
And it would have been a good timeout if he had made it.
Well, from the basket cam, you see just how close it was as it ricochets in and out. But we had a great opening quarter of play. Both teams have worked out the nerves, and now it'll be a question of what contribution Seattle gets off the bench versus the contribution of Russell and Carr, who have been more consistent in games 5 and 6.
Steve, Ahmad was telling us from the Utah bench about how Jerry Sloan displeased with the big man rotation against Seattle's press, and how they want to get Karl Malone more in the paint. Forget the fadeaway stuff, according to Ahmad and Jerry Sloan.
Russell now tight on Gary Payton, who gets by and goes through the lane.
And certainly we've seen a more aggressive Gary Payton than we saw in game 6. Who seemed to be distracted, wasn't in the ball game, looking to penetrate and make things happen.
Frank Brakowski into the game now. His job to shadow Karl Malone. Shot clock down to 7. Malone around his man, can't get it to fall, and Brakowski has the rebound.
Not a good offensive start for Karl Malone today. Too many dribbles, too much hesitation. Needs quicker moves to the hoop.
Malone is 2 for 8 from the floor today.
But Malone is going to get into this game. He's the kind of player that sometimes will struggle early and eventually get a rhythm. They're going to get a push underneath. The Sonics will get a new 24. Antoine Carr, the big dog, the original big dog.
Hey, still the big dog. The new big dog needs to do something. This big dog has already done it.
Now, Russell has got the job of defending Payton, and when Payton sees this, he's going to try to beat him around the corner.
Banks outside Perkins for 3. And that'll be out of bounds to Utah.
Good pass by Nate McMillan. You can just see the pain on his face when he tries to move. It's so sad. Here's a guy who has given everything to this franchise, the only team he's ever played for. Taking a shot and his blow back before the game. So dangerous.
The nerve problem affecting his left leg. And as we saw in Salt Lake City on Thursday night, he cannot elevate very well.
But nothing's going to keep him out of this game, and certainly if they win it, nothing's keeping them out of the championship. Both of these teams know they may not get to this championship again, and they're going to leave it all out today.
Carr converts off the bad pass. Morris and Brian Russell in the game at the same time, something we have not seen from Utah.
Yeah, Brian Russell playing some big guard. There's Sam Perkins stroking everything, bringing it all. Perkins moving so well. I have not been impressed, Greg, with Utah's ability to feed the post quickly if Nate McMillan gets called for a foul. And Stockton looks so much quicker than he has at any time during the course of this series. Here's a slow pass that Brakowski gets out on, and The strength in the hands of Antoine Carr enables him to finish with no weak side rotation.
Meanwhile, John Stockton went right over to Antoine Carr and told him, you've got to be moving on those drives.
The problem that they have in handling John Stockton's tough shot to Russell is that they are letting him initiate. And if you're a defender, you cannot allow a guard to come at you and expect that you can control him.
We have timeout on the floor with 9:52 to play. The Sonics lead it by 2. This is the NBA on NBC.
Why do I love this game? There's 1,000 reasons why. We got ours.
What's yours?
I love this game because I can let my hair down.
Goodness! I love this game because they rock and roll.
Because age doesn't matter.
Because of the perfect pass.
Lob inside for the jam. I love this game because you get to wear a helmet.
I love this game because they know how to work it.
Oh, my goodness! I love this game. What's not to love?
Basketball fans, what's your favorite game?
Oh, what a play!
Put a fan favorite on NBA.com Global and cast your vote for the game you want to see.
Oh, my!
You're a fan. What's your favorite?
Michael at the foul line. A shot on Elo. Good! The Bulls win it!
Choose from one of 4 available games.
Log on and vote.
Control the action. Play fan favorite on NBA.com Global.
Oh, my God!
There are 1,000 reasons to love this game. What are yours?
2 words. Larry Bird.
I'm gonna love this game because of the cool shoes, baby!
Because of the trash talking.
I love this game because you can count by 2s.
I love this game because the players fly through the air. Up, up, and away!
Ta-da!
We love this game.
Welcome back to the NBA's greatest games.
Next weekend, NBC Sports continues its coverage of the French Open presented by Perrier. Number 1 seed Pete Sampras looks to add a French Open trophy to his collection, the only Grand Slam title that has eluded him. Grand Slam tennis on NBC. The French Open presented by Perrier. Special daytime coverage of the men's semifinal action next Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. The women's final next Saturday at 12 noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. And the men's final next Sunday, 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific on NBC.
Sampras looked pretty good today. That basketball move he was working on.
Heads out of bounds off Carr, who protests the push from Bukowski from behind. Frank Bukowski comes off of the Seattle bench playing physical basketball.
They've got an unusual lineup a small lineup, and this is what George Karl likes to do, to get a team to try to match up with him, move people in and out. Bukowski knocks down Russell.
So Bukowski comes back in. That's his second personal foul.
Shrimp comes back in, Detlef and Sean Kemp comes in. So Shrimp and Kemp in, Perkins and Gary Payton out of the ball game.
Seattle getting stellar play, Utah, solid play out of their backcourt. Stockton and Hornacek 6 for 9 between them. Rest of the team just 4 for 15.
Foster with Shrimp on it. Gets a look. Greg Foster. And we're tied at 25.
Foster was their 3rd or 4th string center this year behind Spencer, Ostertag, Adam Keefe, Antoine Carr. Now he's playing terrific minutes.
And Stockton going to get called up top for this one.
One thing that Jerry Sloan said about Game 7, I want to find out who wants to compete on both sides of the floor. And Greg Foster has gotten better as the series has gone along. As long as he stays within that area, doesn't get too happy, he's going to make Jerry Sloan happy. Now, when he starts drifting outside and begins to think that he can shoot deep, he's going to find himself on the bench.
Askew finds himself open and hits. play first half.
The size of these interchangeable players for George Karl in the backcourt. Nate McMillan and Vincent Askew can play up big over the top of guys like John Stockton. Brian Russell now playing the off-guard. Got to do a better defensive job.
Double team comes to Stockton. Morris to Foster. Foster jumper short. Askew with the rebound. Sonics 2-on-1 if Shemp can get a hold of it, and he cannot.
Terrific retreat by Utah.
They're going to double and make somebody else beat him.
Brakowski, before he gets the three away, there is a foul called down low. And Kemp with some words for John Stockton. Nate McMillan with the second personal.
What is Greg Foster doing getting a technical in this situation? Maybe standing up for his teammate John Stockton that got decked in the lane. You don't want to give up a point here.
Take a look at it up above, and you'll see Stockton is stuck right in the fray right there, and actually was trying to draw the foul against Nate McMillan. So he went down. That's when the disagreement came up.
So Shrimp gets the technical. Sonics lead it by 3.
Karl Malone back in the fray. Ahmad Rashad was talking to us about Jerry Sloan's displeasure with Utah's offense against the trapping, pressing defense for Seattle. Utah's handled that the last couple days. They have not done a good job this afternoon.
Now Brian Russell will move back to the forward position as Hornacek comes back in the backcourt.
Now this is the lineup that has given Seattle the most trouble. Karl Malone up front with Stockton, Hornacek, and Russell out on the floor.
Malone working on Brakowski. Turnaround. Too strong. Loose ball picked off by Hornacek.
And remember, Karl Malone told us he was trying to stay calm and quiet, let the game come to him. So he's still a little bit too excited. He's got to work some of that adrenaline down.
His fadeaway is not working, though.
And there's a foul on Antoine Carr, who is none too pleased about it. That's number 2 on Carr.
After a brilliant start for Utah in the first 5 or 6 minutes, they've really struggled to get good looks. Antoine Carr in foul trouble.
But actually, that was a good foul. Sean Kemp was right at the basket. If he catches it there, it's a throwdown. So they're better off making them reset, come back with another 24 seconds, and make them become a perimeter team.
I would never go for a steal on Sean Kemp. Always make him shoot turnaround fadeaways.
When Seattle's in trouble, it's when they stand, they don't cut to the basket, end up with a 3-second violation. This is a team that needs motion, they need activity, and in this possession, they don't get it.
Steve, Utah's done a fine job of sending those cutters through, setting screens on the weak side, and splitting on the strong side. Seattle standing and watching in the post.
The Sonics have had turnover problems lately against Utah. That is their 10th of the game. And Stockton draws the foul from Askew and gets a shot from behind for his trouble. Vincent Askew. That's number 1 as Hersey Hawkins waits to come in. Let's take another look.
What John Stockton has become is the aggressor, and he's attacking the basket. Every one of the Utah guards, of the Seattle guards, are on their heels, and he's beating them with that first step.
What quickness. And Stockton initiated that little confrontation with Brakowski. Askew, he doesn't want to come out of the lineup.
Another foul. Hersey Hawkins. Hand check.
Seattle's guards are so much bigger than Stockton. They can just stand up over the top. But he's so much fresher physically. He's beating guys off the dribble who are good defenders.
But that's been his strength his entire career. Beat people off the dribble, get himself some room, then he starts passing the basketball. Get another whistle against the Jazz, and there's Brakowski and Malone going nose to nose.
We expected this would get a little bit physical. This is number 3 on Brakowski.
Well, this is intimidation. Michael Buffers was here. He should be calling this.
When the whistle blows, the players have to walk away and reset once the ball comes back into action. When they start walking toward each other, that's bad.
Karl Malone 0 for 2 from the line, gets counted down again. He is 0 for 3 as Sam Perkins checks in. Malone shooting just 58% from the line in the postseason. Has no explanation for the fall off in his abilities from the line, and he'll get counted again. Let's see how accurate they are. As you might expect, the fans are a little quick. Malone, 1 out of 4, 28-26 Seattle.
You know, it's kind of like they used to put that clock on Ivan Lendl in tennis, and he'd always get it away before they had the violation. So Karl Malone knows exactly how much time he needs to get it. It's irritating to the fan. Hawkins.
But there's no intent by Karl Malone to violate the rule.
The foul is on Jeff Hornacek. Percy Hawkins will be shooting free throws when we come back. 6:46 to play in the first half.
I don't stop. I don't stop. Honey, honey. I don't stop. Baby, don't stop. Honey, don't stop. Baby, don't stop. Baby, don't stop.
There are 1,000 reasons to love this game. I've got mine. What are yours?
I love this game because of Dr. J.
Irving with the dunk shot.
Because of Tim Duncan's excellence.
You know what I love about this game? Jason Kidd.
Oh, my goodness!
Because Yao Ming is 8 feet tall.
Because nobody played like Pistol Pete.
Oh, my goodness!
Shaq's dominance.
What a play!
I love this game because George Mikan started it all.
Seattle, Washington, on a Sunday evening in June. Welcome back, everyone. Here's how this series has gone so far. It opened here in Seattle with a 30-point blowout by the Sonics. Sean Kemp led the way with 21. The Jazz made it closer in Game 2, but Gary Payton's 18 points and 8 assists still had the Sonics up 2-0. They returned to Salt Lake City. Brian Russell came off the bench to score 24 in Game 3. And the Sonics lead was cut to 2-1, but Sam Perkins led the way for Seattle in Game 4. Back here Tuesday night in Game 5, Jeff Hornacek's 27 cut the Sonics lead to 3-2. And then Thursday night, the runaway Utah victory, 118-83, has us at 3 games each. The third time in 5 years that Utah has been in the Western Conference Finals. It's the first time they've won more than 2 games in a finals.
Yeah, they're right on the threshold. They all can feel it, and they were all excited about the opportunity to get to face the Chicago Bulls should they win this afternoon. A rare miss from Percy Hawkins, who has been terrific at the line for the Sonics and really is trying to be the aggressor against Jeff Hornacek, who has tortured him through the first 6 games.
Hawkins gets 1 out of 2, comes into this game shooting 90% from the free throw line in the postseason.
Utah has to be ecstatic that they're within 3 here. Stockton hasn't scored since the first 4.5 minutes of the game. He had 10 points early. And Karl Malone's really having a hard go of it.
And Perkins fouls him in the paint.
So with things going poorly for the 2 stars for Utah, the guys that make it all happen, they're right there in the game.
Well, it's been an ugly quarter at the offensive end for both teams. Utah's got 5 points. Malone trying to get them 7 with this pair of free throws. And the Sonics, they have 8. So it's not been a hot-scoring quarter.
Malone now 2 of 5 from the free throw line. Utah just 2 out of 8 from the floor here in the second quarter. And Seattle 3 for 4.
Now remember, the thing about Karl Malone here in Seattle is he's never gotten off to great starts, but he's usually exploded in the second half in the third quarter. So he's trying to find the rhythm, let the game come to him, gets both of those free throws.
29-28, Sonics by 1.
Karl Malone loves the pressure, loves the antagonistic crowd chanting out his name. He wants to take on the entire state of Washington.
Sean Kemp looking for a way around Malone and is fouled by Malone.
He's just helping them up, and they're taking it the wrong way. I thought there was a confrontation. Sean Kemp is actually under control.
Karl says, I don't want any help.
Well, that's fine.
But this is the second foul here for Karl Malone. Usually he's clean as a whistle on these type of plays.
He's one of those guys that plays great defense with his hands and got a little bit too much arm, but Sean Kemp is going to take the free throw. Kemp is in this game. He's played under control and not having to be concerned about fouls.
Jim Gray tells us Nate McMillan is back in the Seattle locker room stretching out that sore hamstring. Kemp hits them both. 10 points on the night for Kemp, 3-point Seattle lead.
4 rebounds for Kemp. Most importantly, 0 fouls.
The basketball. Hornacek feeds him down low.
Hey, look at Gary Payton step right in there, close enough to where he can be called for illegal, but they call it on Detlef Shrimp on the other side. George Carlson, look, that's what they do in Utah. You take a look up top, and you'll see here Detlef Shrimp right in here, and he's going to move back across the lane. And when you see him, he's standing there in the paint.
The players are arguing, and the coaches, particularly George Karl, arguing way too much. They're acting like the refs care who win this game.
Russell for 3. And Payton has the rebound.
Well, that's because of the bigness of the moment. Both teams have so much at stake, and these groups of players want to get to Chicago on both sides.
Kemp with the handoff to Payton and the travel.
When you make that handoff, and we've seen Stockton and Malone guilty of the same thing, you can't leave it in your hands. When you're going to give it to him, you got to flip it up in the air just 6 inches out of your hand so he knows to take it. When the guard comes by, like Payton did that time, and tries to grab it out of your hands, that's always going to be traveling.
11th Sonics turnover of the night.
They were trying to get Felton Spencer in a game. They wouldn't allow it, so Antoine Carr has to stay in.
They got to get Ryan Russell in this game. They got to get him to make a shot.
5.5 to play in the first half.
The man that they have to get started is Malone, and everything revolves around him. If he gets started, Russell gets shot.
That was his best move of the afternoon. Most authority.
Malone with 9. Jazz are within 1, 31-30. This is Payton now, top of the game.
They would love to become as efficient at running pick and roll as Stockton and Malone. They never quite get the screen set. Kemp inside.
Out there. Once he gets that deep position, just up and over, lead with that elbow right into Karl Malone.
Stockton gets Payton in the air and then gives it to Carr.
A lot of time on the shot clock.
Now look at Hersey Hawkins, done a much better job. They force a turnover, can't control it.
It is Utah ball with 5 seconds on the shot clock. Jerry Sloan wants a foul, doesn't get it. Here's Karl Malone working on Perkins.
Almost loses his balance. Drops that drop step leg back so far. Kemp comes right back with the same move. Kemp doesn't use the hitch that all the great post players develop. The Abdul-Jabbars, the Akeem Olajuwons, the Karl Malones.
5 seconds on the clock. Spencer inside and gets the bounce.
Nice inbound play. They caught the Sonics asleep. Everybody was pressuring outside, and they just threw right behind the ear for Felton Spencer's easy 2.
Coming up on 4:20 to play in the first half.
They want to set a pick and roll, and they don't get it set. That's been their problem when they try to play the 2-man game.
Payton for 3 out of the corner. No. Rebound off to the Sonics. And Shrimp, did he get the timeout call? He did.
A wasted timeout. Gary Payton's having a tough offensive day. Just 2 for 4 shooting, 5 points.
No, he didn't get the timeout. Mike Mathis pointed in the direction of the Sonic bench. What he meant was it's Utah basketball.
That's a break for the Sonics.
scoring quarter so far. Utah with 11 points, Seattle with 12.
Russell wide open, but he's the guy that Shrimp has to leave, and when he leaves, he's the guy that gets a shot.
Up top, Hornacek grabs the loose ball and rebounded by Shrimp.
What a pass by Stockton. Looked like he bounced it off of Payton's backside.
Shrimp on the drive. Walking foul, and it counts.
This is the number 3 guy in the offensive priority for the Utah Jazz. And Felton Spencer could never stop moving. Otherwise, he would have gotten the call. Shrimp says, finally, I'm going to get to the line.
Spencer with his third personal.
And it appeared as if Felton Spencer was just starting to get on track. He got a little jumper to roll for him in the lane.
Malone with the rebound.
Detlef Shrimp still able to get by guys with that weak pump fake on the perimeter. He's not making that outside shot. Why go for that?
Stockton for Foster. Gives it to Malone.
Nice pass.
Karl Malone now with 11 points, 35-34. Jazz back within 1.
7 in the quarter. Both teams playing hands defense, and the Jazz poke it away. Payton steals it right back. Can't control it.
As Jim Gray told us, Gary Payton going through a tough time this week of personal family matters, and he wanted everyone to know that his entire family was together last night before the game and are here in Seattle with him.
And a very confident and animated and poised Gary Payton as well.
Malone goes to Foster at the top of the key, and now Hornacek going to look for Malone again down low.
Well, the Jazz have been making that extra pass. This one has to come out over the top. Hawkins' reaction saying, he was out of bounds.
Well, rarely will you see Jeff Hornacek beat you off the dribble for his own shot.
Stops the clock with 2:49 to play in the first half. 35-34 Seattle.
The first ever
game for the women's NBA.
Teresa Weatherspoon at the buzzer, a 3.
The Houston Comets have won their 4th straight.
And the first appearance by Edna Campbell.
Am I watching a game or am I watching a highlight film?
She does it for the first time in WNBA history. Now the back-to-back is yours. Congratulations.
Oh my! Deanna Nolan!
It's good and we got a ball game. That right there, everyone, personifies what the WNBA is all about.
Are you kidding me? That was sick. Kenyon Martin, he is Superman.
This kid can do it all. Bron James, my.
Vince Carter, oh, that was wicked nasty. The power and fury of the morning. Walker for 3. When you're hot, baby, you are hot.
Okay, guys, there's 1,000 reasons why people love this game. Let's give them ours.
I love this game because the tattoos really bring out their personality. I love this game because sometimes it's okay to eat pretzels, nachos, and Cracker Jacks.
Ooh, I love this game because of the fancy spin moves.
I love this game because the arena is so feng shui.
This place is going nuts now.
I love this game even though we're the real dream team. Here's to the NBA.
We love this game.
Welcome back to the NBA's greatest games.
Kids today just don't listen. Welcome back to Seattle, everyone, where our halftime scores, the Sonics 44 and the Jazz 41. A look at the Miller Lite halftime statistics shows that the Seattle Sonics were shooting the lights out in the first half. 17 of 28, 61% of the floor, led by Sean Kemp, who was 6 of 8 and 16 points. In the turnover department, Seattle has been turning the ball over at a rapid random rate. They are still doing that. In the last 4 games of this series, Seattle has averaged 22.5 turnovers a game. They've got 12 already this evening. Gary Payton with 10 points, but they lead it by 3 at 44-41. John Stockton has turned his game around in the last 2 games. 14 points, 12 assists in Game 6, 11 and 3 so far this evening. Jim Gray is standing by with Seattle coach George Karl. Jim.
All right, thank you very much, Greg. George, you outshoot the
Jazz, you out-rebound them 61%, yet you only lead by 3 points. Are you concerned?
I like where we are. I mean, there's a lot of worse places we can be. The turnovers are affecting us a little bit. I think we can, offensively, we can play a lot better, but I love the defensive effort and the focus on the rebounding.
How did the halftime conversation go? Are there a lot of nerves in that locker room?
I don't think so. I think everybody wanted to get back out on the court and play. It's a man's game right now. And that's the way it should be.
George, good luck in the second half.
Back in Seattle, 44-41 Sonics as we get ready to start the third. Leading scorers in this game so far. Take a look for the Utah Jazz. Karl Malone with 14, John Stockton with 11 for the Sonics. Sean Kemp with 16, Gary Payton with 10. Let's check in with Ahmad Rashad. Ahmad.
All right, Greg, Jerry Sloan telling his team at halftime that Seattle's shooting 60% and they're only down 3. The thing that concerned him is they were 6 for 20 from the outside. He said they want to execute their offense better and really get into the offense. Too much standing around on the perimeter. When they post up, they want the guards to cut harder to the basket, try to get some easy buckets. Greg?
All right, Ahmad, thank you. Detlef Schrempf backs in, and then the turnaround on the baseline.
Seattle, Greg, has to think finish. They've got to think take care of it one more time. Run and run and run some more until you make your opponent quit and keep Hornacek's hands off the ball. Hornacek, he needs to take 20 shots in this game. He's only got 6 attempts in the first half.
Malone's miss. Schrempf has the Sonics running. Irvin Johnson.
No. The terrible shot.
I may not get another shot, and that one was wide open for Irvin Johnson. What they've got to do is get him going to the basket. The Jazz rebound it and turn it over, but Utah is not a team that likes to run on the road, and that's one of the reasons that George Karl is trying to force the tempo to get them to do something they're not accustomed to doing.
John Stockton, in the first 4.5 minutes of the game, scored 10 points in the last 19.5. As Detlef Schrempf hits a 3, Stockton has managed just 1 point.
And Jerry Sloan counters quickly with Brian Russell. Too tentative by Chris Morris.
49-41. Stockton converts on the pass from Hornacek.
That play has been there. The passer has got to zip it in. Hornacek, keep his eye on Stockton and vice versa. Seattle's defense way too soft on that play.
Kemp spins, feeds, comes out to the top. Oh, Payton left open. He never leaves the ball. 10 for Gary Payton. Make it 12 for Payton. Timeout, Utah. 17,072 cheering their Sonics and lead it 51-43.
What a play by Allen as he somehow scooped and scored. Boy, this kid can do it all. Here's McGrady off the drive this time. Yep. Oh, man, it's sensational. The power and fury of the morning.
I love this game. There are 1,000 reasons to love this game. What are yours?
I love this game because of the crossover dribble.
Oh, very well played.
I love this game because the men are easy on the eye.
I love this game because you don't need a 9-iron to score.
Pass to McGrady. Look out below.
I love this game. Yeah. Staples Center crowd.
I love any game that brings the drama every single night.
The steal. Houston wide open for 3. Bang! Tie game.
Welcome back to the NBA's greatest games.
Well, once the Jazz and the Sonics determine who will meet Chicago in the NBA Finals. NBC has 3 hot must-see TV comedies tonight. Mad About You, News Radio, Third Rock from the Sun, the NBA Western Conference Finals, and must-see TV. What a night. NBC tonight.
Greg, for Utah right now, their consistency that has been their trademark of Stockton and Malone for years, that's not good enough. They have got to play better than they've ever played. They got to raise their game.
This is an 8-point game. Jerry Sloan knows that they're at a real critical point in the ball game. They don't want the Sonics to get to double digits. That's why I call a timeout. Hornacek forcing the shot, but getting the whistle.
Percy Hawkins commits his second. The Sonics shot 50% from the floor in the first quarter. Since then, they are 12 for 16. So they've stepped up their offensive game.
And the aggressive edge that we detected in Percy Hawkins yesterday carrying over throughout this game. So strong, so assertive defensively, denying Hornacek completely.
Hornacek hits the first. Oh, look at Jeff Hornacek, who is just lighting things up. 52% from behind the arc. The problem for him tonight has been getting that shot away.
And he's got a quick release. They're not setting screens for him away from the ball. They're not getting any sort of up and down opportunities. Karl Malone's been fading away, not getting to the hoop. Sometimes you have to drive the ball, Greg, right at Hornacek's man. Force a double team with Hawkins, and then Hornacek can get some sort of shot.
Well, this is their hot shooter in the quarter, Detlef Schrempf, but when Russell has been guarding him, he hasn't been looking.
Sean Kemp with a 2. 53-45, 9.5 to play in the third.
What are you going to do when Sean Kemp plays like that? The guy's shooting perfectly, totally under control, no fouls. Hasn't gone for a pump fake, hasn't double clutched.
Stockton to the other side. 15 for John Stockton. That's his high point total in this series.
Remember, Sloan said if we can just stick in there, keep plodding along, we can get a chance to get control of the game. And it's really on the Sonics to try to force the tempo to not allow Utah to get anything cheap or easy.
And Russell will shoot 2 on the foul from Hawkins. That's number 3 on Percy Hawkins.
Scowling Percy Hawkins, not happy at all, but they look like they have gotten control of the ball. They lost it again, and then Russell, bringing it hard to the basket, will go to the line. Now, Russell has been quieted. They have not seen him be the energizer for Sloan so far, but that's why he's in the game, too, because he brings a different kind of energy to the floor.
Wasn't that traveling on that fast break attempt by Russell?
No, he was dribbling. You got to know dribbling. You don't know how to dribble.
Russell, his first 2 points of the night, 53-49. The Jazz down by 8 and now cut it to 4.
It was Russell and Antoine Carr in Game 5 that allowed Utah to win that game and set the stage for tonight. Wild shot, Peyton. That's the kind of shot that can get Utah going.
Hornacek for 3. A little bit too long. Kemp with the rebound.
Remember, Carl said that we wanted a little bit of playground, a little bit up and down, but we want them to get out of their character and allow Seattle to get more into theirs.
Well, Peyton, from one of his favorite spots on the floor, didn't find anything. Russell for 3.
That is beautiful basketball. You can just see John Stockton's eyes light up as he comes up the court, picking guys out. Maybe this guy, maybe that.
And Kemp turns the ball over. 53-52. Jazz looking for the lead here.
Let one fly, Russell. You just hit one.
He gets the pass from Malone and draws the foul from Schrempf.
Another problem that Russell presents is that he is the guy that's cutting, and Detlef Schrempf is having trouble finding him. When he dives to the basket, he's open.
George Karl sees a little something he doesn't like here, so he calls timeout with 7:59 to play. His Sonics lead it by 1, and you're watching the NBA on NBC.
Ginobili with the move. It's good. Ginobili. Okay. It's over. Posting in. He went down. Do you love this game? Are you?
Oh my goodness. NBA Europe Live is coming soon.
1,000 reasons to love this game, and here they go.
I love this game because I love to hear that sweet string music.
I love this game because when I'm around sweaty men, I smell better.
I love this game because when my jumper's on, it's on.
Allen, 3 more. I love this game because you can't strike out.
Because home is where my heart is. I love this game, and if you don't, you're fired.
Welcome back to the NBA's greatest games.
The latest edition of the NBA Finals begins Wednesday night as the Bulls welcome in the winner of this game, Hersey Hawkins. We were speculating earlier tonight about what the Bulls are thinking. Are they resting too much? We asked Hersey.
If you're Chicago, I think you're thinking, thanks, Utah. Thanks, Seattle, for playing 7 games. Of course, giving them the rest to heal all their little aches. And watching us every night, I'm quite sure they've scouted us very, very closely now, and they probably know every little nook and cranny of what each team does. So, they'll be sitting in a pretty good position when whichever team comes in that Wednesday.
But the winner of this game will come in game sharp and on edge already. Now, Chicago has not lost a single game at home in the playoffs, but their roster was built to beat Orlando. So all those big guys they got on that team to bang with Shaq, they'll be immaterial in this series. These teams out here, much more based on skill and interchangeable players.
Ryan Russell hits 2 free throws. The Jazz are up 1.
7 1/4 for him, but this also has awakened both of these teams. This series has done for them what the New York series did for the Chicago Bulls. They are going to be ready to play in the finals.
Gary Payton. Spencer with the rebound.
In the first half, that was going for Gary Payton, scoring at will. He had 10 in the first half. He just got 2 here in the second, but you can't miss that over a guy who's under 6 foot in Stockton trying to stop you in the post.
Utah has scored 9 straight.
Well, they got that spark, and Karl Malone hasn't really gotten a rhythm here in the third quarter. His rebound champ.
You go get that guy, okay?
9 rebounds for Sean Kemp.
In order to quiet him down, Detlef Schrempf has really got to stay aggressive at the offensive end.
Kemp hits a second straight jumper from outside.
Karl Malone is not matching up with Sean Kemp in the perimeter game.
Antoine Carr set to come in. Jerry Sloan wants an illegal defense call on the Sonics. He doesn't get it.
Well, they missed it. They did have Sam Perkins lost in the shuffle, but Kemp wants to guard Karl Malone this afternoon.
Malone goes with the left hand. He doesn't fall. And now Malone losing his temper a bit at the other end. That's number 3 on Malone.
The frustration for Malone. He had a shot. He thought he could get down. Sean Kemp playing perfect basketball today. No fouling. Staying completely within himself. I'd penetrate right at Karl Malone or who's ever guarding Sean Kemp and get him another jumper from the perimeter right here.
55-54, Seattle by 1.
They're trying to get the ball to Sean Kemp now, who's being guarded by Malone.
Hawkins down the lane, kicks it out. Perkins alone for 3. Sonics by 4, 58-54. And there's the illegal defense call. Jerry Sloan says that's the second time in a row that's happened, but the first time you've called it.
Yeah, Seattle's defense, which is at the top of the league, they're taking Karl Malone out of his game. They're making him shoot fadeaways. They're giving him only opportunities in his least favorite spots on the floor. Give George Karl a lot of credit.
Greg, I didn't know you could read lips so well from so far away.
It's that sign language stuff. Boy, Shawn Kemp having himself a night.
Well, he's maturing. We have seen that from Game 5 on. Shawn Kemp is learning how to play with the emotion and the bigness of the moment.
Under 6 minutes to play.
And as poorly, Greg, as it's going for Utah, they're just down 3 points.
And Malone got the ball down low and drew the foul, so he will shoot 2. That's number 1 of the game on Kemp.
But Kemp has stayed out of foul trouble, and you know, even now, and working the official is doing it in a way to where he might get a call the next time down.
Kemp 4 for 8 from the free throw line, gets counted down again. For Karl Malone.
Hornacek's only taken 1 shot this half. 7 for the game.
Malone goes 2 for 2 from the line, pulls the Jazz to within 1. 58-57 Seattle, 5:50 to play in the third.
Utah really needs Brian Russell and Antoine Carr right now to do something out there.
Payton. And it's out of bounds off Antoine Carr. It'll be Seattle ball with 12 seconds on the shot clock.
Unforced turnovers, and that's what's been killing the Sonics. This pass right there, and then Payton just loses control of the ball. They're fortunate to get it back. 12 on the shot clock.
They've been averaging 22 turnovers a game, Steve, since game 2. That's not good.
14 turnovers so far tonight. Payton off the mark. Russell has the loose ball. Here comes Stockton and the Jazz.
Nobody's setting screens for Hornacek in the open court. Nobody's trying to help him get off.
Yeah, but Hersey Hawkins is wearing him for a jacket as well. He is not letting him get out of his sight where before he turned him loose.
Malone's pass nowhere near. Payton dishes off Hawkins' face twice and draws the foul. And Malone and Hornacek talking about that missed connection at the other end of the floor.
Gary Payton, fortunate to find Hersey Hawkins. Looked like he'd gotten himself a little bit out of control, but true to his word, Hersey Hawkins said, if I have to force up a few, I'm getting in this game. I am not going to have Dawkins call me again and tell me I didn't do what I do best.
You hate answering those calls at 3 in the morning.
But you can see how Seattle has made the adjustments and realizing that Utah doesn't have shot blockers when Felton Spencer and Greg Foster are on the bench. Antoine Carr and Karl Malone, they never go in the air. It's always down low.
Hawkins hits them both. The Sonics by 3, 60-57. Coming up on 5 minutes to play here in the third quarter.
Isley has to make positive contributions here.
Stockton with a seat on the bench. Malone to Hornacek, and blocked by Hawkins. Hawkins left behind, came back for the block on defense.
Karl Malone is giving the ball to cutters who can't do anything with it. He's got to be more selective.
Perkins, turnaround, got it. 10 points for Sam Perkins off the Sonics bench. 62-57 Seattle.
If you're going to change the tempo of the game and you're a Sonic fan, you got to look for them to do it right now against Howard Isley.
Seattle crowd comes to its feet. Malone wants the ball down low and gets it back. Powers up, comes up short. Here come the Sonics again. Payton spins, retains control down the lane. Follows, no, tap up by Shrimp. Jerry Sloan wants timeout.
Utah standing around waiting for calls to be made. They're not coming.
Seattle on an 11-3 run has opened up a 64-57 lead. 3:53 to play in the third quarter. We'll come back to Key Arena in just a moment. This is the NBA on NBC.
Double dribble! Double, good call, baby! Left! Stretch! Let's go, get back! Right here, dog! Where it's out! Watch Pete! Yeah! Go, baby, here we go! Ball! Girl!
Hey, there's Ginobili. He is really a sensational defensively.
There are 1,000 reasons to love this game. What's yours?
The crowd is on their feet.
I love this game because you know what? Little guys can make a big difference.
You can stand here with the ball doing stupid things like I'm doing now and look cool.
Because it gives me a chance to be me.
I love this game because you get to wear a tank top.
We love this game because we can always go together.
It's a good date.
How nice was that?
That close.
Welcome back to the NBA's greatest games.
Back for the start of the fourth quarter here in Seattle, and our guest cameraman here at the start of the fourth, a familiar face to anybody who's watched any television at all. Richard Dean Anderson. Rick's in town to film an NBC miniseries that'll air in November. I got that right, Pandora's Clock, right, Rick?
Yeah, you know, I've been up here for the last month or so shooting this thing called Pandora's Clock for NBC, but on the weekends I like to pick up a little extra change doing this.
And we're glad to help. Thanks, Rick.
How am I doing?
Let's go over to Ahmad.
All right, thanks, Greg. Brian Russell left the game moments ago complaining of not being able to see. I just found out that he had bumped heads with Gary Payton, and what he's suffering now is double vision. He's in the locker room. They've applied some eye drops, and I'll keep you posted as to his condition. Greg?
All right, thanks, Ahmad. Utah turns the ball over. Seattle with the ball and a 73-67 lead.
Terrific recovery and poke away by Vincent Askew.
Teams trailing game 7 don't come back to win very often in the fourth quarter. There's a rejection of the Perkins shot, and here come the Jazz, 3-on-2. Stockton slows it down. Hornacek.
Don't shoot that one.
Karl Malone's going to get tagged for a foul right there. So now there becomes a problem for Malone, who has not been able to get into the game at the offensive end. His fourth personal foul. Watch the elbow come up on Detlef Schrempf.
That's a big-time shove in the paint. That's number 4 of the game on Karl Malone.
Well, if they're going to let the defense push, you got to get them off you somehow.
Payton spins on Stockton.
This is what we anticipated through the entire series. Payton and Stockton going back and forth with each other. It took Stockton a little while to get himself going, but he is into this game, misses that shot.
Payton comes back, and Stockton with the steal from behind. Hornacek will push. Feeds Malone on the run.
Big-time extension. Karl Malone needed that hoop to get started, and they need him to bring the Mayo down the fourth quarter.
Great how Karl Malone never double clutches on his way to the hoop. It's just pure strength and power.
Perkins with the shot clock running down now to 5. Detlef Schrempf needs to get it away. Forces it over Malone. And well for Schrempf.
The role players for Seattle, which did not get the job done in the last couple of games, have played solid ball today. Schrempf, Hawkins. For Utah, on the other hand, Antoine Carr hasn't played today.
Benoit loses the handle and turns it over.
Ryan Russell's been in the locker room. He's back out on the bench right now.
And Jerry Sloan has some decisions to make as the crowd goes wild for their Sonics. 9:46 to play in regulation.
jump right out of the building. The Lakers win. They are breaking out all the tricks tonight. You gotta see it to believe it. That was scintillating.
There are 1,000 reasons to love this game. Let me hear yours.
I love this game because the behind-the-back pass.
I love this game because I love to get the crowd into it.
Well, I love this game because it's all rock and roll to me.
Stojakovic is on fire.
I love this game because of the New York Knicks.
I love this game because the thrill is never gone.
Posey with a flush.
One of us plays this game great.
One of us doesn't play at all.
But we love this game.
Welcome back to the NBA's greatest games.
Miller, where great taste runs in the family, brings you Miller Moments.
And tonight's Miller Moments spotlights the last time a Western Conference Final went to Game 7. 3 years ago, the Sonics and the Phoenix Suns, the game belonged to Charles Barkley, who had a monster game. 44 points, 24 rebounds. The Suns advanced to the NBA Finals, defeating Seattle 123-110. In recognition of that moment, Miller Brewing Company will donate $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund. That man, George Karl, hoping to move on to the NBA's championship round.
3 years ago, Jordan and the Bulls were waiting for the winner again, so nothing has changed except that the Sonics are trying to be the team to get there.
That left Schrempf open for three, front rim, and Stockton has the rebound.
Sonics, though, have made some major personnel moves since that time, improving team chemistry and versatility off the bench.
That'll be Vincent Askew on the push.
John Stockton is a leading rebounder in the game for the Utah Jazz. He's got 7. That tells you that they're not doing the job on the glass, but he is attacking Vincent Askew. They're going to have to change that matchup. With only an 8-point lead, he's able to break down the defense. That means somebody else is going to get involved.
Brian Russell back on the floor for the Jazz. Stockton finds Russell, and Russell puts it up.
Tough shot, waited so long. Karl Malone's only got 4 rebounds in this game.
Benoit came over to tap it back. So Carr, Russell, Benoit, Malone, and Stockton. Up top, Benoit for 3. And David Benoit curls it home.
Benoit has been waiting for Jerry Sloan to call his name at a meaningful time. He used to start. He wants to prove that he hasn't gone AWOL.
Well, he hurt his knee before Game 4 in the Portland series and been struggling to get any playing time since.
Swing it around to McMillan, who puts up a 3.
That's when the Jazz can get back in the game, when the Sonics stand around and shoot the ball from the perimeter. If they're going to go outside with no movement, Utah's going to control the glass when it back out.
Sean Kemp will be back on the floor at the next whistle. Shot clock is down to 7. The lob from Malone had it blocked and fouled.
Malone wants to shoot. Gary Payton says on the floor.
Foul is on Detlef Schrempf. And that's 4 on Schrempf.
This was a defensive strategy that Seattle utilized in Game 5 that Utah has not capitalized on today. When they run the pick and roll, Seattle loves to switch that. That forces Gary Payton to guard Karl Malone. First time they've created that opportunity. We haven't seen left side pick and roll today for Utah.
And Malone will not shoot. Utah inbounds the ball. Stockton.
A long arm for Sam Perkins.
5-point lead for the Sonics.
The Sonics are best offensively when they go without thinking. If they stop and think, they don't do that. Payton reacts and scores.
20 points tonight for Gary Payton.
Utah, which was so good at the closeouts on the perimeter shooters in Game 6, not getting it done today, allowing Payton to get whatever he wants in the paint.
Well, Karl Malone told us this morning that he wanted to be like Olajuwon was when they put them out of the misery last year. He wanted to have all the touches.
How about
Benoit again from 3. He's 2 for 2 from behind the line. Sonics 79, the Jazz 75.
That's what the Jazz needed, another shot in the arm, and Benoit's provided it. 2 3-point field goals.
And coming over to commit the foul is Brian Russell as Stockton went for the steal.
But look what Seattle is doing and continuing to take advantage of Payton in the post over Stockton. So much size, strength, quickness.
You know, the entire community here, Bill, was nervous about the Sonics, thinking that they would see a replay of the Denver Nuggets, a replay of the LA Lakers, but this team has been different and played true to their character so far. They have been aggressive, and they've been able to hold the lead, but give Utah credit, they are really fighting.
But it's the poise and maturity that we're seeing in Gary Payton and Sean Kemp that has been the difference from the last couple years, as well as the more relaxed attitude of George Karl. Oh, John.
Another step. Stockton looking for the foul call. Didn't get it. 80-77. Sonics by 3. 6:45 to play here in the fourth quarter. Kemp. He'll go to the free throw line.
I like the lineup that Jerry Sloan's using. More athleticism, get Russell into the backcourt, utilize David Benoit.
Antoine Carr draws his 4th personal as the teams go to the bench with 6:42 to play in regulation. The Sonics 80, the Jazz 77. We'll be back to Seattle right after this.
There are 1,000 reasons to love this game.
What are yours?
I love this game because of the three-point shot.
Because I get to run the point.
Beautiful pass by Payton.
Because Seattle is where it's at.
I love this game because it's improvised.
Did you see what I saw?
Wow, huh?
I love this game.
I love this game because it's alive. It's alive!
Welcome back to the NBA's greatest games.
Karl Malone, half of a terrific Hall of Fame duo, Malone and John Stockton. The Jazz have never reached the NBA's championship round. They're looking to do it now.
.9", 255-pound Karl Malone.
A new NBA assist king, John Stockton. Stockton steals. There it is. Stockton stole the ball. Stockton stole the ball.
The question is, does this run stop here tonight, or does it continue into the NBA's championship round? 7 seconds on the shot clock. Stockton. Shot clock at 2 on the run. In and out and back in again. 85-84, Seattle 22 for John Stockton tonight.
Huge game for Stockton, and like Sloan said, against the clock, Stockton has made a lot of good things happen for him. He wants the ball in his hands. Seattle cannot get tentative at the offensive end. 10 on the shot clock.
Kemp. And this one is against Antoine Carr. That is number 5 on Carr. Let's go back to John Stockton.
John Stockton just able to break down the defense off the broken pick and roll and over the outstretched arms of helpless Seattle defenders. As big a shot as John Stockton's ever hit in his career.
Now Antoine Carr playing with 5 fouls.
Well, they're trying to come to Kemp, and they want to get an inside score. Sean Kemp.
And the whistle blows. That'll do it for Antoine Carr.
The discipline of Sean Kemp to get what he wanted. To work him down into the paint. Still with no hitch back to that baseline side to set it all up. But clearly Antoine Carr all over the arm.
In the last 2 victories for Utah, Carr had 8 points in Game 6, 16 points in Game 5. He finishes up with 4 points and 3 rebounds tonight.
He laid his big body out there and banged some people around, made Sean Kemp work a lot harder here in the second half of play. Kemp was nearly perfect in that first half.
But Steve, that is so much what the home court advantage is all about. Sean Kemp gets the first free throw to extend the lead to 2. But it's always those middle-level guys, the Antoine Carrs, the Felton Spencers, the David Benoits. At home, they play great. But what happens when they get out on the road?
87-84 Sonics coming up on a minute 10 to play. Hornacek. Hawkins got a piece of that. Hornacek thought he was fouled.
Now, if you're a Sonic, you want to use time, but you don't want to become tentative. So they've got to be aggressive, trying to go a 2-man game between Kemp and Payton. They turn it over.
Malone with the steal.
Malone in transition.
And there's a foul by Payton on Stockton.
Good foul by Payton. Didn't let them get numbers so that they'll have to set up.
Boy, what a battle that has been at the point guard position this series. Owned by Payton until Stockton came alive in Game 6. 40 seconds to play.
This Malone underneath the basket, wide open.
Too slow.
Russell for Malone, who got it. 87-86 and a half minutes to play. 22 for Malone.
8-second difference on the shot clock.
Sonics with the ball and a 1-point lead.
If you're the Sonics, you want to have action going to the basket. You want to try to get the whistle if you can. Sean Kemp.
And Foster gets the foul called against him. Sean Kemp has been a workhorse on the baseline. He will go to the line and shoot 2.
The conditioning of Sean Kemp, but watch Foster put his hands up in the air. Once he puts his hands up in the air, he's showing the ref that he's given up on the play. If he keeps those hands down at the shoulder level as the bench explodes in excitement in anticipation of the pending victory, but Sean Kemp, now is where his conditioning comes in.
Kemp in Game 5 had 24 points and 13 rebounds, 26 and 14 in Game 6, 24 and 14 tonight, including 8 of 9 from the free throw line. And he is like clockwork now.
Percy Hawkins coming out of the ball game, Askew in. They're hoping for size in the backcourt. They want Gary Payton against Hornacek, who can shoot threes, but John Stockton can break down the defense and get by Askew. Missed it.
He hit it. Timeout, Utah. So many disappointments in the Sonics' recent history can be erased if Seattle can hold on to a lead with 13.9 to play.
If you're the Utah Jazz, you got to take the first score available. If you take a three-point shot, you're inviting yourself to be down by 5 or more with clock running against you. Karl Malone, John Stockton, Hornacek, probably the guys who are going to try to get something going real quick, but they got to get the first score and then come back, try to make a steal and foul.
I beg to differ. I think they need to go for the 3 right now and make it. They're going to eventually have to make a three because Seattle is shooting free throws very well.
Malone will inbound. Stockton, Benoit, Russell, all on the floor. Stockton for Malone to the basket, and he'll shoot two. 8.2 on the game clock.
I think Stockton was going to shoot that ball.
No, he wasn't. He wanted to draw the defense. They knew that they were going to come to him. Watch the little fake, knowing Karl Malone is going to be rolling that big frame to the basket. There was a chance to get a three-point play should that one go in the traditional way, but there's no chance.
Karl Malone just 6 of 10 from the line tonight. They have been on him about his free throws the entire series.
Too much bounce in the legs.
It is live. And George Karl walks all the way to center court to say, I want a 20-second timeout. And the team huddle is going to take place at midcourt. While they huddle, we'll remind you, Wednesday in prime time, 9 p.m. Eastern, Game 1 of the NBA Finals. The Chicago Bulls host the winner of this one, the Jazz or the Sonics versus the Bulls. The NBA Finals in prime time, Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, here on NBC.
I think Karl Malone's got to miss this free throw and hope that they can get a rebound and get the ball tapped back out. I'd get Brian Russell, in that Michael Jordan lane that he runs down and tips that free throw back out for three.
He missed them both. Seattle with the ball and the whistle. George Karl wants to talk to his players on the side. Utah is down to a 20-second timeout and 7.3 on the clock.
Now they fouled the wrong guy, and Hersey Hawkins is going to be the free thrower. You don't like to have Gary Payton be the guy. He has not shot free throws well. Hersey Hawkins at 90% in the playoffs, and this would be his revenge, a sweet moment to give his team, the fans, the win.
Lead for the Sonics. Brian Russell for three. The leader, no. Rebound, Seattle, and it's over. Sonics are going to the NBA championship round. Karl Malone standing by with Ahmad Rashad. Ahmad.
All right, thanks, Greg. Karl, a very tough loss here today, but you guys did a lot of things that nobody even expected you to do by even being in this 7th game.
Well, it was a tough loss, and obviously I didn't play that well. But, I got to give them a lot of credit. They played really hard, and You know, we win like men and we lose like men. So I just want to say to that organization, congratulations and good luck. And we played hard. We just didn't get it done. And I missed some easy shots, but I just try to come back next year and do a better job.
All right, Carl, you had a great season. Congratulations to you. All right, let's go back over to Greg.
All right, Ahmad, you expect nothing but class from Carl Malone. That's what we got. Jim Gray.
All right, thank you very much, Greg. I'm now joined by George Karl and Gary Payton. Gary, first let's talk to you. Those 4 big free throws by Sean Kemp. How nervous were you when he was shooting that ball?
Well, we've been shooting free throws terrible. And when Sean stepped up there, I knew he was going to knock him down for it. I was kind of nervous. I ain't going to tell you no lie. But he knocked him down, and that's why he's Sean Kemp.
How much more relaxed were you today? It's been a very difficult week for you.
Well, I was a lot relaxed today. I started off a little timid and missing a lot of easy shots. But in the second half, I got into it. Coach kept telling me, keep on shooting the ball. And that's what I did, and then I got into a rhythm a little bit.
How about the Chicago Bulls? You don't get too much time to enjoy this.
Well, we can enjoy it for a day or so, but we're going to go out there and we're going to give it all we got. They're a great team, and we're just going to come out and just play.
Gary, congratulations. George, you told your team before the game, just go out and play. We know what they do. They know what we do. How much of that was psychological, and how much of that was just you didn't want to fill them up with anything else?
I thought we played relaxed. It's a very difficult basketball game. Utah battled us every game, and I'm just excited for my team, for our players. And a lot of stuff has been said about him in this city that's not true. And I think now we can say that.
How much relief is there for you now that this is behind you with all of the playoff problems of the past?
My nightmare just begins trying to figure out how to beat Chicago. But it's a city that after the Mariners last September, there's a lot of excitement here. I think we'll give them a good battle.
Was there doubt in your mind with those failures in the past? Is that maybe why you didn't sleep last night?
I've never doubted this basketball team because it has good chemistry, it has good character, it has good people, and our young guys in Kemp and Payton have grown up.
What about the Chicago Bulls? It seems as though everybody has already said that they're going to win this championship regardless of who won this game.
Well, they're a great team, but we can play defense with them. They're a great defensive team. And we're just going to have to figure some things out to how to start playing number 23.
George, congratulations to you. Enjoy this. It's been a long time coming. All right, Greg, back to you.
All right, Jim, if you're wondering, the Sonics and Bulls split their 2 games this season. The Sonics won here in Seattle by 5. The Bulls handed them their worst defeat of the regular season in Chicago. What do you expect?
I expect a terrific series. Payton will jam Jordan, force him to play with his back to the basket. The centers won't be involved much. Rodman and Kemp will be absolutely terrific. My hat's off, though, to the Utah Jazz, the pride and poise and professionalism of Malone and Stockton.
Hats off to both these teams for a great series, Steve.
That's true, and I will take a very quick shot at the Sonics and say they got a chance to be champions.
All right, Steve, our final score, Seattle 90, Utah 86. Join us Wednesday for Game 1 of the NBA Finals as the Seattle Sonics take on Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. Wednesday in prime time at 9 p.m. Eastern, the NBA Finals on NBC. Tonight on NBC, it's 3 must-see TV comedies, Mad About You, News Radio, and Third Rock from the Sun. That's all on NBC tonight. For Bill Walton, Steve Jones, Ahmad Rashad, and Jim Gray, I'm Greg Gumbel. Thanks so very much for joining us from Seattle. This has been a presentation of the NBA on NBC.